All right, now we know the answer to the big question: who killed the electric car? At least the one from Dyson, and the answer might surprise you because it's this guy. That is Dyson himself, and this week he announced that that's it. It's over. They tried it. They couldn't do it. They're just going back to sleep. Now, I'm going to give you some quotes from his announcement. I call BS on a couple of them. I'll tell you how much money they've invested and what other companies have done with like half of that money. Here's what I really don't like about this story. And this is where I'm seeing a lot of this article saying, see, this is impossible to start an electric company anymore. The window had closed. And I disagree. If anything, it's much easier to start an electric company now for many different reasons than, let's say, 5 or even 10 years ago. Nobody knows about this more than the guy who tried back in the day, failed, and now trying it again. Think what you want of him, but he does have some good insights, and I'm talking about Henrik Fisker. Here's what he told me about this particular concept a couple of months ago when I visited him at his private garage in Los Angeles, California.
There was nobody who made inverters. There was nobody who made the electric motors we needed. So we had to develop all that ourselves. And it was a huge task. We had to overpay suppliers. We had to teach suppliers. It was a big feat. I would say today, it's probably actually slightly easier because you can actually go out and buy a lot of the components you need to make an electric vehicle. It still doesn't mean as easy because you still have to build a car. You have to certify it. We certified the Fisker Karma for over 20 countries. We sold it all over the world. And it's a big feat to do that. Some of the startups, specifically the ones out of China, are deciding only to sell their vehicles in China because it's a little easier not to have to certify it for the rest of the world.
He's right. It was almost impossible to do. You had to do everything by yourself back in the day, but now there's all, Bosch makes motors, LGK makes batteries. You really just have to put it together, kind of like a Chipotle of electric car companies nowadays, and you can easily survive with that. And no, don't forget, and I think he kind of forgot the fact that electric cars are more acceptable. People are willing to spend money on them. And there are now tax credits that weren't there in the very beginning. So yeah, I absolutely agree. Now, and by the way, Dyson is a big company. They make a lot of money and they've invested a good amount of money into this project. But I think one of these is a hair dryer, I'm going to assume, and I don't. So they produce expensive products with great design. Some people might say. I do like the fact that it's matching my Fitbit and my shirt at the same time, I guess. But I gotta tell you, I've had my fair share of struggles with Dyson products. Let me know if you had some love-hate relationships with Dyson products as well. And in this picture on their website, kind of features everything that I hate about their hand dryers, which was shot in a bathroom where apparently women are not allowed to wear any color. But so let's look at this. Now here's the dryer that I think I hate the most, right? Anybody knows that, when you dry your hands, you want to consistently rub them so, the water is spread, evenly and drives through the maximum amount of surface. But that's not how this one works. As you can see, you have to keep them separately, your hands. And then because the air blows towards you, all of your water from your hands ends up on your crotch. And the last thing I want to do is come out of the bathroom with a big stain on my crotch. And by the way, the last time I've seen this one was right here, and I even took a picture, a selfie with a Dyson hand dryer, because it was at the Tesla Supercharger, the largest one in the United States, at the Kettleman City, California. And it was funny because Tesla paid Dyson for this dryer, so essentially kind of in a small way funded the electric car project for Dyson. Now here's another one that's in that picture, and I think we've all used this one, where you have to stick your hands in there and try not to touch the rim, and if you do, you have to wash your hands again because everyone's crap on there. And the third one is not as popular, but I've seen them at the airports. Same thing. People don't even know it's a hand dryer, by the way. People just don't. And also you have to keep them separately. So I guess I'm almost happy that I can't believe I'm saying it, but maybe I'm almost happy that they never came up with a damn thing. All right, but let's talk about what really happened and how much money invested. Before that, of course, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV called Byte, and look how fast it is to reserve one. If you haven't, I don't know why, you're crazy. It's 30 seconds of your time. absolutely no deposit required. You just get in the queue. So whenever you're ready to buy an amazing SUV, whenever it is here in the United States and Europe, you can actually get your Byton. So go to the description of this video to reserve yours today. All right. So the plan originally, and this was, by the way, the original drawing. So if you kind of can imagine, I know some people think that the front looks a little bit like a Tesla, which I think it does. But it's a good-looking SUV, I think, if you kind of imagine what it would look like. And they committed $2.5 billion to this project, and they could afford it. Now, they've also spent a little bit of it when they've acquired a solid-state battery company called Sakti3. Originally they invested $15 million into them, and then they just bought it for $90 million. I'm assuming a lot of it went to the logo design. Really? I think I can get it on Fiverr for like $5. Come on. Anyway, part of as a former user interface designer and a graphics designer, part of it just died in me when I see logos like this. But then they've also invested in a big factory that we're building in Singapore. Now they're saying that they're still going to keep this facility to produce other stuff for their hand dryers and the vacuum cleaners and stuff like that, but they were building that as well. And now, by the way, so let's get to some of the quotes from Dyson. And by the way, he signs his name, James Dyson, engineer. You're a CEO, dude. You can say I'm the boss, that's fine. So he's saying this is not a product failure or a failure of the team. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. It is, and it's okay. It's okay to fail. Just don't tell us how it's not a failure. You put a lot of money into an electric car with all the suppliers available, with building a factory, and just couldn't do it. That's okay, but just don't front. But okay, then he goes on and says the Dyson Automotive team have developed a fantastic car. We would have loved to see it. I mean, even just kind of as a demo of what design your company can do. That would be kind of cool. It's weird that we've never got to see it. And by the way, he also said that they tried selling, or at least he didn't say it, that there are rumors that tried selling it, but nobody wanted it. And you know when you try to sell something and nobody wants it to the point where you have to shut it down, it wasn't any good. That's really the reason. So it wasn't a fantastic car after all. But this is where I really have a kind of a problem. He said, we simply cannot make it commercially viable. What do you mean? If you had a fantastic car, you just have to put a higher price on it. There's nothing wrong with it. Tesla started that way. Pretty much all Fisker started that way. A lot of companies do that. Faraday Future, that's just how it is. And you guys, out of all people, don't have a problem putting a high sticker price on your product. So why not? And if anything, try selling it in China. Just try selling it in only one market. There's just so many shady things about this statement, and this is why I don't really believe it. And let's examine some of the other car makers, startups essentially, that had way less money than Dyson and were able to come up at least with a functioning prototype. It's hard to sell a thing when you don't even have a prototype. Let's talk about Rivian. I believe only 300 million invested, but before Amazon and Ford and Cox Automotive came in, but just to produce 2 prototypes, that's all it took. Lucid Motors, same thing, only what, 2, 3, 4, $100 million. Faraday Future, by the time they went on the CES 2016, not that much money. Same thing with Byton and same thing with NIO. NIO's been making cars for a while now. Shame on Dyson, who were not able to figure this out and giving us pretty shady excuse. And again, I don't like making negative stories about anybody who attempted, but this just does not seem like an honest attempt. And I also hate the fact that the narrative now is that, see, electric car failure. So let me know what you think. Do you think that we're better off without him in play here, or everybody should be welcome? Everybody should be welcome to compete. I technically would agree with the latter. I would like people to compete, but I just don't like the narrative that this story has created. Let me know in the comment section what you think. A quick shout out to one of my newer Patreons, Jack Levy. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you're interested, go to patreon.com/e4electric. And of course, don't forget to get on our free VIP list where you get bonus stories every Saturday. All right. Tell me your stories about your experiences with Dyson products. Maybe they're better than mine. Who knows? Maybe I'm missing something. All right. Looking forward to those. Other than that, see you next time. And remember to stay charged.